Good night, students, and welcome to our class from the week number 3 from Model of Competitiveness 9 Industry. I showing you one more time the QR code so that way everybody can get into the class for all the students that are not in our class yet. I apologize for the inconvenience that we have on Saturday because we have some problems with the transmission. That's why we are reviewing the class today. Also, we have another schedule from 7:45 to 8:30 p.m. Is the third class with the same content and the same topic. Welcome to the class. We're going to start the class right now. I'm just going to a couple of seconds more the QR code. Okay. Okay, welcome to the class. I'm just going to share with you my screen. Just give me one second. And here we have the topic for today. We're going to talk about the wealth in our country and countries. Also, we're going to talk about two important companies like Apple and Domino's Pizza and how they transform their companies to be as successful companies, how they start, and we're going to see how you can grow your own business with the formation of wealth. This is the topic that we have for tonight, culture for the formation of wealth. So welcome to the class. First of all, we're going to see the objectives of the class. Number one, provide you tools to increase the possibilities of entering the labor and business market. Number two, the student will know the important elements to manage social networks and to do business. Importance of industry in the economy. Remember that industry is the main topic for all the semester for this course. And number three, the one that is most important for today's class, that is importance of culture for the formation of wealth. And let's start with some concept first. What do you think that wealth is? If you can give me your answer in the chat or in the Telegram group, it will be appreciated. Let's start with that. What is wealth? Here I have different types of definitions, and we're going to see some examples today. And number one, if you want to be wealthy, you must understand what wealth is, of course. And in here, we have some definitions. The best definition of wealth you will ever find, and the more easy way to understand that, is that wealth is cash flow from other sources. So it's all the income, all the money that come for different type of sources for to get a better life. This is wealth. So what that means is that you are not wealthy just because you earn a lot of money. That's not the point. But you are only wealthy when your money works for you. And with examples that we have today, we're going to learn with these companies how these owners of these companies change the way that they do business and they starting growing business, getting the money for them. To become wealthy, your main job is to acquire money and then put it to work, making more money for you. So that is the better thing about wealth. Remember, it's cash flow from other sources. The key to creating wealth is simple. It is called adding value. Successful people are those who are always looking for ways to add value in some way. To add a value to a person, to a company, to a product, to a merchandise, to a service. I'm going to learn how Apple and Domino's Pizza add this value, this ingredient that is add value, give more benefits, solve a problem for the companies of your competition also have. You are the pioneer. They are the first company that offers and that make a difference for your customers to buy your products or services. So this is really, really important about that. Okay, let me just stop my presentation here. And we're going to see what are the basic facts of wealth. So pay attention here, and we're going to talk about that. Give me 1 second. Okay, in here I have some examples about wealth in different countries. We're going to analyze South Africa, we're going to analyze Mexico and United States and how the GDP works. Then we're going to talk about that. These videos have a translations into Spanish, so that way it will be better for you to understand. So pay attention to that, and then if you can write your comments about what do you think and what is the probability about how many baskets, because we're going to talk in baskets here. For the example, every basket worth $100, and this represent how much a person can buy per year in these countries. And we're going to analyze, probably guess how many baskets of this type of food with the people in Guatemala can buy.
We all know that there are rich countries and poor countries. The United States, it's one of the richest countries in the world with one of the highest standards of living. The Central African Republic, it's one of the poorest countries in the world. Mexico, it's somewhere in between. But just how big are these differences between the rich and the poor countries? And how do we measure these differences? We're going to measure the differences in living standards by looking at real GDP per capita. That's a country's gross domestic product divided by its population. Real GDP per capita captures the average individual's command over goods and services. Their purchasing power. Or put another way, how much stuff, which we'll picture here, using a basket of groceries, can an average person buy in a year? So let's start with the Central African Republic. This is a small, landlocked nation in Africa. It's currently suffering under a civil war. It's probably the poorest country in the world. In the CAR, an average person can buy just 6 baskets of stuff in a year. Now let's consider Mexico, a country you might be a little bit more familiar with. If the average in Africa is currently suffering under a civil war, it's probably the poorest country in the world. In the CAR, an average person can buy just 6 baskets of stuff in a year. Now let's consider Mexico, a country you might be a little bit more familiar with. If the average person in the CAR, they can buy 6 baskets of goods in a year, how many baskets do you think that the average person in Mexico can buy?
Okay, let's see if you can guess how many baskets of food a person in Mexico can buy. We already see that in South Africa, they only can spend more, just 6 baskets. Remember that every basket represents $100. So let's check how much the people in Mexico can buy.
Take a moment, take a guess, make a mental note of it. We'll come back to that. Now let's look at the largest of the developed nations, the United States. How many baskets of goods do you guess that the average American can buy in a year? Okay, have you got your guesses? Here are the answers. In our depiction, each basket is worth $100 of buying power per year. Using data from the International Monetary Fund, real GDP per capita in the Central African Republic is about $600 per year. Just 6 baskets. Real GDP per capita in Mexico, in contrast, is $17,800 per year, or 178 baskets. Both of these numbers, by the way, have been converted to dollars by taking into account differences in prices in these countries. These are so-called purchasing power parity conversions, the most accurate way we know to compare living standards across different countries. Now let's look at Mexico and the CAR again. The average person in Mexico, they can buy 29 times as much stuff in a year as the average person in the Central African Republic. What about the average American? Well, this is how much the average American can buy. 545 baskets. That's 3 times more than the average person in Mexico and 90 times more than the average person in the Central African Republic.
As you see here, you can compare the wealth of every country. So we're closer to Mexico. So we have probably between 80 up to 95% basket for people in Guatemala. But this is really, really interesting because in here, you can compare every country and you can see how important GDP for every person that live in those countries.
So when we're talking about differences in wealth between countries, these are not small differences, but regularly on the order of 10, 20, 50, sometimes 100 times more in one country than in another. And countries that we might sometimes lump together in our mind as being poor, like Mexico and the Central African Republic, they're not nearly in the same league. The prosperity in Mexico, it's much closer to the United States than it is to the truly destitute nations, such as the Central African Republic. Have these huge disparities in wealth, have they always existed? Are countries converging? Are they diverging? Is it getting better or worse? Some countries catch up. These are all topics of some of our upcoming videos.
Okay, so what we're learning here about wealth is that there are different types of wealth for every country. So it's really important because you can analyze how every country lives and you can compare the poor countries and the wealthy countries. And there's a huge difference that probably doesn't seem fair, but the countries are fighting for get a better economy and get a better industry. That's why industry and all these 4 sectors of industry that we just have talked in the first class are so important for every develop of every country. Okay, how we improve the life or work of others. There are 3 elements for successful business. And what are those? The needs, the values, and the offers. So all the business that get a successful business, that have successful stories, they find the need of what the people want. Probably it's something that they just need for service, a specific product. If you find the need, you can get all answers to those people. And what you have to do, just add value to that services and offer that to your customers. So that way you can get all the information through the needs and you are resolving problems and improving the life of other persons. Let's see here, I have some examples in this screen. All manufacturing and marketing is based on this principle of adding And you will understand why this principle is so important for any company. All importation and distribution aims to add value. Performing a service that enhances the life or work of another person adds value. And here I have some examples. Number one, let's make a look to a dentist. Well, a dentist who take away pain is adding value to this patient. An accountant who saves a client money on taxes is adding or actually creating value for this customer. Let's think about a salesperson who introduces a new product or service to a customer that helps that customers in some way is adding value. They are feeling some need. All financial success, especially business success, is based on adding value. It is based on the old saying, find a need and that's why the need is so important to offer any type of product, merchandise, or service to our customers. So remember these three characteristics of a success business: need, value, and offer. And we're going to see the examples that of those companies that I'm going to show you in this class. We're going to see why this adding value make the difference of the competences. Okay, let's talk about combine and recombine elements of value too. What is that? When you are combining benefits with values, you're going to make more interesting for your customer and they're going to buy your product, to prefer your products from the other companies. All successful business is based on someone bringing together the factors of production, such as labor, capital, raw materials, and management, and creating a product or service that a customer will pay a price for that is in excess of the cost of producing it. So as you see here, we have the world, we have different persons, we have different products, everybody is connected. But that's why we're learning about how to do in business online. And also successful business are based on a person just bringing all this together, connecting all these people with through the internet, through publicity, through several type of services, through several type of products, or through several type of merchandise to help people to get a better life. So this is why we're talking today about wealth, about these connections, about these successful companies, and about adding value to all these characteristics of any product. Let's think about how all fortunes are made, because this is part of the wealth. Adding value is the way all fortunes are made. Whenever you see an opportunity to give people what they want at a price greater than it costs you to produce a product or services, you see an opportunity to make a profit. This is when you just buy and sell stuff for another person. This is a lot of people way of living. When you just buy merchandise or just contract some type of services, you keep between the customer and this company, probably between a customer and another customer, or a business between a customer. Remember that we have 4 different types of making business. That is business to business, business to customers, customers to customers, and customer to business. There are 4 ways to do business. And we need to be aware of that because we are part of that. Probably you are some people that you go from customer to business, and you provide to this company certain type of materials or merchandise for this company. This is customer to business. Business to business is when a company offers certain type of products or services to another company. This is B2B, business to business, and also business to customers, B2C, when a business offers certain type of products to customers, and C2C, customer to customer, as we say before. So business and moving toward financial success. Almost any business or occupation can make you financially independent if you can find a way to add enough value. Okay, I'm going to stop the presentation here, and I'm going to talk about what is GDP. I want that you understand better these three letters, GDP, that is the GIF in Spanish, el Producto Interno Bruto. We want to talk about that. And it's important that we understand about it. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to speak this as publicity. Here we go.
GDP is the best three-letter acronym in economics. But what exactly is GDP?
GDP, or Gross Domestic Product, is the total market value of all final goods and services produced in an economy in a year. It measures the production of goods like pizza, new houses, cell phones, and services like your favorite streaming channels.
The calculations are simple accounting. Multiplying the prices of goods and services by the quantity sold and adding it all up for the entire economy. It's important to note that all these goods are measured in the price at which they are sold to the end consumer in U.S. dollars.
Because one person's spending is another person's income, GDP can be tracked by either adding up income earned from selling goods and services or by tracking spending on goods and services. As we'll find out later, the spending or expenditure approach is a useful way to learn about the economy.
GDP is measured on a quarterly basis. That is, the U.S. Department of Commerce releases GDP data 4 times per year. Economists analyze the numbers to see if the economy is growing, meaning it's producing more goods and services, or contracting, meaning it's producing fewer goods and services. A growing economy is associated with more jobs and rising standards of living. Contracting economy indicates the economy is likely in recession and will experience rising unemployment. In other words, GDP is a very useful indicator of the economy's health.
We are measuring how much the people can buy. And also GDP, remember that is a useful indicator of the economy's health. And this is going to give this wealth that all these countries want by promoting the different sectors of the economy. Remember, like we see in the first class, we talk about the first sector of the industry. When we have all this farming, we have also agriculture. And what happened when we just use all these materials or this product from the primary sector and we put it in the secondary sector, we transform all those products. Like these farmings of cow, for example, we have all this milk, and what happened in the secondary sector? We are transforming the milk in cheese, in ice cream, in milk powder, etc. So we are transforming those products. That's why all these sectors are so important for the economy's health and wealth of any country. And what happened in the tertiary sector? Remember that in here we have all the technicians, all the people that have experience, and all these professionals that are giving their experience, their job, everything for the economy. They are transforming all these services in banks, in electricity, water, restaurants, etc. And what happened in the quaternary sector? Well, this is part of the tertiary sector of industry and also is helping to develop this economy's health and wealth that all the countries are looking for. Just give me one moment. Okay. So I'm going to see some action exercises. So we're going to analyze to the Apple company. Now, here are 2 actions you can take immediately to add more value to your time and activities. First, take the time to be absolutely clear about what is that people want and need to improve their lives and work. The more clear you got your objectives, the better for you to get all this wealth. The more clear you are about their real needs of the people, the easier it is for you to satisfy them on a higher level. Second, look for ways to add value to what you are doing every day in every way. Never be satisfied with the status quo that is no good, because if you just stay there, your company probably is going to broken. One small idea to add value can be the starting point of a greater fortune. So I have a video with all this story about the Apple store. And I want that you analyze how they were growing, how they were finding all those needs for all these people to make their life easier. And how until today they have all these products that make us the life easier. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to share that video about the Apple story. Okay, just pay attention to that and tell me what you think about that. So this is the first $1 trillion company. And this company just started in a garage. Probably some of you know the story of Steve Jobs' story and how they grow, how he believed that he can change the world with their products, offering a lot of values to the people. Just pay attention to that. Let's see what you think about it.
Apple was founded by Steve Jobs in April 1976. Stephen Jobs was born to Dolly and Joanne Schiebel on February 24, 1955 in San Francisco, but then was adopted by Paul Jobs and Claire Hagopian, a Bay Area blue-collar couple whom Jobs is extremely grateful to and always considers as his parents 1,000%. By the time he was 10, Jobs was deeply involved in electronics and befriended many of the engineers in the neighborhood. While studying at Monte Loma Elementary School in Mountain View, Jobs hardly made any friends and was frequently bullied that he considered dropping out of school. When he was 13, Jobs was given a summer job by Bill Hewlett. He then entered Homestead High School with Bill Fernandez, a fellow electronics hobbyist. They decided to enroll in John McCollum's Electronics 1. McCollum and the rebellious Jobs would eventually clash, and Jobs began to lose interest in the class. Jobs and Steve Wozniak were introduced in 1971 by a mutual friend. The two Steves got along thanks to their shared love of technology. The two Steves attended the Homebrew Computer Club together, a computer hobbyist group in California's Menlo Park. Woz produced the first computer with a typewriter-like keyboard and the ability to connect to a regular TV as a screen. The computer was later christened the Apple I, which was the archetype of every modern computer. Jobs saw Woz's computer, recognized its brilliance, and sold his VW Microbot on its Wozniak's calculator on the 1st of April 1976 alongside Ronald Wayne. Jobs convinced him to take 10% of the company's stock and act as an arbiter should he and Woz come to blows. But Wayne backed out 2 days later, selling for just $500, a holding that would have been worth $72 billion 40 years later. Apple's first logo was drawn by Ronald Wayne, depicting Isaac Newton under an apple tree. After that, the Apple logo was designed again with the rainbow scheme. It was used for 22 years until Steve Jobs had asserted the Apple logo after he returned from Apple Farm. A year after foundation, the Apple II was a much more commercial product and came with this. It had a bus technology processor running at just 1 MHz with 4 kilobytes of RAM and was one of the 3 1977 Trinity computers generally credited with creating the home computer market. The Apple III was designed to take on the business environment that was released on May 1980. Because of lacking the cooling fan as Jobs wished to, the company had to recall thousands of Apple III. On December 12, 1980, Apple launched the IPO of its stock. It instantly created more millionaires, about 300, than any company in history. The Apple I, II, and III computers were text-based machines, much like the earliest IBM PCs. But Jobs wanted something more intuitive. So the Lisa launched in 1983 with its graphical user interface in place. The Macintosh debuted the following year. Jobs was forced out of Apple in 1985 after a long power struggle with the company's board and its then CEO, John Sculley. and took few members with him to found Next, specialized in higher education and business markets. Apple purchased Steve Jobs' company Next in 1996. This would not only bring Steve Jobs back to Apple's management, but Next technology would become the foundation of Mac OS X operating system. In 1997, Jobs stepped in as the CEO and began restructuring the company. At the 1997 Mac World Expo, Steve Jobs announced that Apple would be entering a partnership with Microsoft. Included in this was a 5-year commitment from Microsoft to release Microsoft OS for Mac as well as $50 investment. While discontinuing Apple's its operating system to third-party computer manufacturers, one of Jobs' first moves was to develop the iMac, a family of all-in-one Macintosh desktop computers. In 1998, the iMac was released. At the time, it was as consumers increasingly opted for Windows PCs machines in Apple's Performa models. The iPod was released in late 2001. The iPod came from Apple's digital hub category when the company began creating software for the growing market of personal digital devices. 3 years later, the iTunes Music Store was launched, with 2 million downloads in the first 16 days. The first version of the iPhone became publicly available on June 29, 2007 in selected countries. While it wasn't the first smartphone, it leapfrogged far beyond the competition and launched the mobile revolution. The MacBook Air, released in 2008, was the biggest change in Apple's laptop line for years, and invented a whole new category of computer called Ultrabooks. In August 2011, Jobs died of respiratory arrest related to the pancreatic neuroendocrine tumor. Apple then bought Beats, which made headphones and ran a music service, for $3 billion in 2014. A year later, Apple released Apple Watch. Apple has released 11 generations of iPhone, along with several versions of iPad. iPhone is one of the most widely used smartphones in the world, and its success has been credited with helping Apple become one of the world's most valuable publicly traded companies. So, are you using an iPhone? Please tell us in the comments. Also, check out our other animated history shows. Thanks for watching, and don't
Okay, what we have learning here about this Apple company, it's all these transitions in history. But what Steve Jobs was doing is was satisfying the needs of the people. First of all, with the computer and how he was transforming all the computer world. Second of all, the music, the smartphones, the watch, the headphones, everything. He just seen the needs of the people, but he add value to all these products. That's why this growing of this company. And now this is cost more than trillions dollars. So that is really, really interesting. Okay, let's continue with the class and with the diapositives. Just give me 1 second. Let's talk about Domino's Pizza. So they add value also to what the other companies of pizza offer. So here is an example of adding value. We're going to talk about that company, Domino's Pizza. The founder of Domino's Pizza took a common food offered by thousands of little restaurants because he was not the first that sell the pizza. There was a lot of restaurants selling these products and also delivering more rapidly than anyone else. That was the value. Remember that logo, 30 minutes or free? Well, this is the added value for Domino's Pizza. The add value of speed enabled Domino's to create a billion-dollar empire and made the founder of Domino's, Tom Monahan, one of the richest men in the world. And we're also going to see the story of Domino's, and you will see that at the beginning, the taste of the pizza was really, really bad. It wasn't good, but he listened to the people, and he saw and he found that the people wants a better taste, a pizza of good quality, and also that was faster to deliver until the door of your house. That I want to see that video with you. Also, when you buy cheaper somewhere else, another way to add value is to buy something in one place at one price, and they make it available in another place for another price. If we see here in Guatemala, there's a lot of companies, a lot of dealers of cars. What they do is just bring to Guatemala all those cars from Europe, from Asia, and from United States to our country and make it available. And they also give a cheaper price. So that way they make available this product for you. And this is the add value. For example, buying a product or service manufactured in Europe or Asia, in China, in United States, Mexico, etc. And when you import that to Guatemala and marketing available to people to whom it was not available before, is a way to add value for which you can charge a higher price and you are getting more money for that. So let's see the story of Domino's Pizza, and you will see how they add this value to the customers. And they have today more than 10,000 restaurants around the world.
Selling breakdowns. Domino's Pizza have undergone one of the greatest turnarounds in recent business history. Gone from being a punchline about quality with a share price below $10, being the second largest pizza company in the world and a darling of the stock market, priced over $150. In fact, Domino's stock has outperformed Google, Facebook, Apple, and Amazon in this decade. So today, we're going to briefly look at the history of Domino's and focus on how they turned around their fortunes by realizing that their product wasn't just pizza, it was delivering pizza. The company started back in 1960 when Tom and James Monahan bought a pizza shop called Dominick's. James sold his share within just 8 months since he didn't want to give up his full-time job at the Postal Service. The shop couldn't use the original name, so they eventually settled on Domino's Pizza. Their logo used a domino tile with 3 dots, representing the 3 pizza shops they had acquired by the mid-60s. Before the 70s started, they were already franchising to over 200 stores by 1978. Over the next few decades, they grew steadily, both in the US and overseas, so that when Tom Monaghan finally retired in 1998, he sold 93% of the company to Bain Capital Inc. for $1 billion. Soon, Bain moved to take the company public, and it went onto the stock market in 2004. But by 2009, the shares were down at $8.76, and the public perception was that Domino's made some of the worst tasting food in America. Patrick Doyle was installed as CEO in 2010 and began a revolution across every aspect of the company. First, they fixed the pizza. They ran a hard-line advertising campaign criticizing the quality of their previous output and showing what they'd done about it. Next, he tried all the franchises to have team member empowerment so that every worker had the authority to fix customer issues. This meant that if you called up complaining that your pizza was late, the kid answering the phone didn't need to hunt around for the manager and ask what to do. They could do whatever they had to make you happy right then and there. New pizza would be sent for free, extras would be added to orders, vouchers were sent out. Bento ads on customer service. This had been the plan early on with the famous 30 minutes or it's free promise that had begun back in the 70s, but that had long fallen to the wayside. Complaints and quality wasn't all that changed. Doyle realized that it wasn't enough to have good pizza. You had to fix the whole ordering and delivery process. This meant a huge investment in technology, not just websites, apps, but physical inventions too, like custom vehicles with pizza warmers and bags to trap the heat. Because of that investment in technology, Domino's online ordering system is maybe the best in the pizza industry. Not only is the ordering system quick and logical, but your action has not gone unnoticed by the general public. It seems like the honest ad campaign, accepting criticism, acts as a clean slate so that all innovation is met with optimism rather than cynicism. Barring some disaster, share prices will soon cross $200, and there are 10,000 franchises spread around the globe. So Domino's is going to keep taking a bigger and bigger bite of the pizza industry. So what can we learn from this? Well, most important to realize that even a company with one core product, like pizza, is still much more than just a producer. No matter how good or bad what you produce is, half the battle is how customers find it, order it, receive it, and review it. You might beat all your competitors in a blind testing, but if you don't care about the full customer experience, you'll struggle. And finally, we learned that it's never too late to change. If something isn't working, take the complaints on board and see what you can do to fix them, even if that means a radical new approach.
Well, as you see here with this story about this company, it's really interesting because as you see at the first time, the people doesn't like that pizza because the taste was not good, but they changed that with a pizza with quality, with good customer service, and they transform all this food industry in something millionaire. Okay, here we have the 5 questions that we have for this week. Remember to answer these questions. I'm just going to send again the presentations and also the support videos and support material in the Telegram group. Thank you so much for your attention and I hope you have a great night.